Welcome back, everyone. So today I'm doing something a little different. I want to do a video, a top 10 video for my top 10 video game franchises or IPs I would love to see in Universus. Some of these are going to be definitely wishful thinking, but it's my personal wish list, so let's get into it. At 10, we have Omen of Sorrow. I guarantee you this is the coolest concept game you've never played. I've played it before. It was on, I believe, the PS4, and it's basically your basic story-driven fighting game, kind of like Soul Calibur, where you choose a character and you go through that character's story mode, except all of the characters are steeped in, like, horror lore. So you've got, obviously, the Wolfman over here. Oh, you can't see my cursor. But on the left, you have the Wolfman. On the right, this is this big guy here is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You have the Frankenstein monster, you have a fallen angel, you have a gargoyle, Emotep the mummy, the Doulahan. It is just so cool, just all these like universal movie monsters in this one fighting game. There's Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. They each have their own unique fighting style, as well as like cinematic finishers and ultra moves, and it's so cool. I absolutely loved it. Except the mechanics were broken. I looked up the tutorials online on how to play, and I did the in-game, like, how to play thing, and the button sequences simply did not do what the game said they should. It was a broken game. However, it is a really good game. I absolutely think the art is amazing, and this is an IP I think would fit right at home with Universus. So moving on, we have Mega Man X, the Mega Man X series. People who've been playing the game as long as I have will remember the Mega Man series. We had Mega Man Rise of the Masters and Mega Man Battle for Power, which were the old school Mega Man games. But Mega Man X was something very close to my heart that I grew up with as a kid. I remember I had this Mega Man X boss system here memorized, starting with Chill Penguin, which ones you had to face when to basically have your easiest time. I loved this game as a kid, and I think this series, with all of its different robot masters, similar to the original Mega Man, you have such a wide variety of colorful characters, and that's what you'll see in a lot of these video games that I have on this list, as well as another list that's coming out later. It's a wide cast of various characters that all have unique play styles or fighting styles or abilities or power sets, and so it's not just from my nostalgia, but it's things I think can really work in the game, and I think Mega Man X and the Mega Man X series, with some exceptions of some of the later ones, would fit in quite well. Next we have Darkstalkers. This is another classic fighting game IP that used to be in Universus way back when. I believe Darkstalkers Warrior of the Night came out shortly before I joined the game, but it's really cool. Again, a wide cast of characters, each with their own unique abilities and skill sets. Plus, it hits on that nostalgia of just going to the arcade and playing with these crazy characters in like a Marvel vs. Capcom, which was on the list until I realized the absolute nightmare of getting those licenses would be. So yeah, and I know Chris Smith loves Morgan. My friend Jared loves Lord Raptor. I personally am an Anakaris fan. I think he's really cool. But yeah, I think this could make a comeback, not only for the nostalgia of what this property was for the game in the past, but also just, I know there's a lot of old arcade fans that love Darkstalkers, and I think that making a comeback with Darkstalkers would be a really cool idea. So that was number 10, 9, 8. So on to pick 7, Cuphead. Hear me out. So I know Cuphead got an anime, or a show, a cartoon, on Netflix, but I played the game on Xbox. It's probably one of like 3 games I've ever played on Xbox. I love the hand-drawn animation for it. It is one of the best indie games I've ever played. It had a very good difficulty level to it, and again, it was kind of just a boss rush where each level that wasn't just a little mini run and gun was a boss fight. And those bosses were so interesting and so diverse and so unique that I really think that those characters could make a home here in Universus, and it would probably not be too expensive an IP, I think, to pick up, considering it was an indie-developed game that took off. I think it'd just be good to... I want this game to get more love. I love passion projects like this, where it was made by, like, just a couple of people. They worked really hard on it, and I really want to see more love for Cuphead, and I think it'd be really cool for this game to show up in Universus. So that was 10, 9, 8, 7. On to number 6. We have Bloody Roar. I know it says Bloody Roar Extreme, but I couldn't find the original Bloody Roar logo. So this is an old fighting game that I loved, similar to like Street Fighter or Tekken, except the unique trick was all of the characters had a beast form you could transform into. Like this big guy here is an elephant, this succubus looking lady here is a bat. This fancy dude, I think, is this unborn thing, or he might be the penguin. No, this guy's the penguin over here. But everyone gets their own unique beast form. You know, this chick is the rabbit. This crazy punk-looking dude's the gecko or chameleon. With Attack on Titan giving us transforming characters, I think this is an IP that would absolutely fit as a transforming character-centric type of set. Back when 7th Cross, which is another older IP for UVS, their version of transforming characters is you had a second character with the same name but with the altered form, and you could stack them. You could have multiple copies of basically the same named character but different versions, and you get access to all of their abilities. You can still do that in Retro. But now that we have transforming characters, I think this would be a really cool way to have, like, this dude who, like, maybe if you land 3 attacks during your rival's turn, you can transform into the tiger and clear your card pool or something. Something really wild like that. I really like this this IP. I loved the game when I was a kid, and I think this would be a really neat addition to Universus, especially now that we have the transforming mechanic. So, UVS Games, something to think about. It's a much older game. You could probably pick it up relatively cheap. So, number whatever. If you guys are keeping track, I'm not anymore because I did this from like lowest to first, not remembering that I was going to have to count backwards. So, what was it? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 5, Kingdom Hearts. Again, hear me out. I know they'll never get the Disney side of things. But and maybe not even like the Square side, like the Final Fantasy, The World Ends With You, probably not. But there's a lot of unique to Kingdom Hearts characters. You have the main trio, Sora, Riku, Kairi. You have Organization 13. That's kind of the main reason I want a Kingdom Hearts set. I want to play the Organization 13 members. I love the Gambler Luxord with his time-based mechanics. I love Marluxia, who uses like flowers as a weapon and he uses Scythe. I really think there's a cool... I'd love to see what the design team does with these characters. Maybe some of the bigger boss Heartless as well, like the Dark Side, or Ansem as the Heartless. Yes, Sammy. This is another game that I grew up playing, mainly because it took 20 years to get to the first 3 games, but I digress. Time management issues aside, I love Kingdom Hearts growing up. And even if they were only able to wrest maybe Donald and Goofy from Disney as a Kingdom Hearts package, even if they didn't, I don't care for Donald and Goofy at all. I don't care for any of the Disney stuff at all. My wife's a big Disney file. But if we got Kingdom Hearts in Universus and the one caveat was we weren't allowed to have any Disney characters, I wouldn't bat an eye. I would absolutely play Riku or one of the Organization 13 members or some of the powerful Heartless. I just think it's a really cool game that I think has a lot of interesting characters that would make for fun additions. On to number 4. Street Fighter 6. Mainly for this dude right here, Jamie, or I think that's his name. I'll be honest, I haven't actually played Street Fighter 6 yet, because I got burned hard on Street Fighter 5 with the game not actually being available when you bought it. You had to wait for the story mode, and that's neither here nor there. Mainly, I want to play a drunken fighter, and that's just my favorite fighting style in games. It's fun, it's funny, and I think Street Fighter 6 could help bring back a lot of the people who loved the UVS old style for all the video games and fighting games, when you had like Street Fighter and Soul Calibur and King of Fighters. So this could be a bit of a return to form, while also giving us some new players maybe from the hype around Street Fighter 6. I know that hype's likely died down a lot because the game's been out for a while, but it's still the most recent Street Fighter, and I think that has a lot going for it there. On to number 3, Mortal Kombat. I'll be honest, I don't care which Mortal Kombat. We had Mortal Kombat X back in Universal Fighting System, and that was really cool, and it sold very well. It's even had, I think, 3 or 4 characters banned. Goro, Shiva, Quan Chi again, Shinnok, so 5 characters banned. Oh, Liu Kang, 6. It's had 6 characters banned. That's how good this set was. Honestly, I don't even care if we follow any sort of storyline and we just get, like, Mortal Kombat Set 1, Mortal Kombat Set 2, and they're just all different, a different cast of fighters for each one. I mean, the roster is big enough with all of these games, from Mortal Kombat 1 to Mortal Kombat X to Mortal Kombat 1 again, which is just weird that they brought it back to Mortal Kombat 1. I don't know. I didn't grow up playing Mortal Kombat. I've kind of just absorbed a lot of it through cultural osmosis. Mainly, I'm not a fan of gore and blood, and that I can take or leave it. But, again, a wide range of characters with a lot of unique abilities that I think could really add a lot of flavor to our game. Again, because it's already done it before, and it was a smashing success before. So I think this would be a really cool property to bring back. On to number 2, we have Dead or Alive. Mainly the Dead or Alive series, but Dead or Alive 6 was the first actual, like, full thing that popped up for me on Google. So, Street Fighter 6, or Dead or Alive 6. Again, mainly for this dude, the drunken fighter, because, again, I love drunken fighters in games. A friend of mine was tearing everyone up with Ninja Dude over here, whose name escapes me. And I'd never played Dead or Alive 6 before, and he was talking a lot of smack. I think it might have been Dead or Alive 6 or it might have been Dead or Alive 5. But I chose this dude because I liked how he looked, and the minute the fight started, I tried to run forward, and my guy fell over, because that's what drunken people do. And I told my friend, I win. He's like, what do you mean you win? And I just started button mashing as much as I could and learning as I went, and I 2-0'd him pretty quick because I love the drunken style fighting. I know how unpredictable it can be and how to use that unpredictability to my advantage, especially when your friend starts panicking, because he was able to basically get perfects on all your friends, and now he doesn't know what to do, and it's hilarious. So, another fighting video game that can help bolster our game with that community, bringing it back to the return to form of fighting games, and adding a new world to our game. So instead of going back to Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or even Mega Man, we're adding a brand new IP to the game, while containing that old school arcade fighter feel. And I think that'd just be really neat. And the number 1 video game I want to add to Universus would be the Injustice series. I know that getting DC Comics would be an absolute Everest for UVS Games. However, we got Suicide Squad Isekai with our Harley Quinn and Joker promos. I don't see why we couldn't go to NetherRealm. I want to say NetherRealm did Injustice and DC and say, hey, look, we just want to license these versions of the characters. Kind of like how we split, we got the manga license for Attack on Titan instead of the anime license, while we have the anime license for My Hero Academia for the card games. If we could just license these specific characters for Injustice and Injustice 2, mainly. And I do know that this is kind of fan-ficky here, but this was probably one of the best pictures I could have grabbed that would have fit in my little design window. But, so ignore this top bit here. But I think this would be a really cool concept, because who doesn't love DC Comics? Marvel fans mostly, but I digress. But I loved these games until I stopped being good at them, and I didn't like the loot box thing, like the mother box loot drops, whatever it was. But I really think that this is a cool game series. And if we just got the licenses for the characters as they were in Injustice and Injustice 2, I think we might have a shot. Mainly I want a playable Scarecrow. I think that'd be really, really cool. Oh, I didn't even see that that's a tease. I remember when they thought that John Constantine was going to be in Injustice, but it turned out to be Hellboy, and that made me sad. Nothing against Hellboy, but I love John Constantine. He's my favorite DC character. No, favorite DC hero. But I think this would be a really cool addition, not just to get all of the DC fans hyped, and think of what an influx we could get from that, but also fans of the Injustice games, which I am one, and just allowing us to dip more of a toe into this realm of gods and heroes. Since we already did a little bit with the Suicide Squad Isekai cards, I think really delving into a slightly bigger pool with the Injustice games that isn't as expensive possibly as the entire DC Comics line, because then you got to figure out which age, modern, golden age, whatever. I don't read comics. But I think it'd be really cool, and it would be a major win for UVS Games if they were able to get this. And yeah, who wouldn't love to play some of their favorite Injustice characters in Universus? But that is my top 10 video games for Universus wishlist. Did I leave off any that you would like? Obviously I did. When making this, I realized I didn't play as many video games as I thought I did. I kind of just stuck to a couple. I think it took me more than an hour to figure out more than 5, which makes me feel really sad. But I don't have any honorable mentions because I couldn't think of anything. But that'll change with my next one, which will be my top 10 anime that I'd like to see in Universus going forward. So until next time, guys, take care.